Y'all know what's sad in America? The new generation has decided to live in vans and cars for part of their life in order to attempt to achieve the American dream.
It should make you mad that you wake up tired and still have to drag yourself up out of bed. Mad that before your feet even hit the floor, you owe somebody money. Mad that your first thought of the day ain't peace, it's panic. Mad that you gotta check your balance before you buy breakfast. Mad that you're doing everything that you're supposed to and somehow it's still not enough. It should make you mad that you go to work every day and still feel broke.
We used to be outside. We used to be farming, living in communities. Now we're in front of screens all day long, in pointless meetings with micromanaging bosses.
This country has never been good. That was all a lie. It was all propaganda. This country was built on the foundations of racism, genocide, patriarchal systems.
Why do you think part of the reason why I'm leaving America is because I'm tired of the way of life here? Jobs and working and making money is just priority. Like, we don't get to actually live our life because we're too focused on being able to barely survive and pay our bills. We don't have time to go out and travel because we have to work.
Most of the original Floridians can no longer live here. The outsiders, though, came down with their retirement and all their money and all their baby boomer shit, doing just fine down here. But, screw all the Floridians that have been here for years that started businesses and have gone through so many hurricanes way before all you boomers moved down here. Have a nice day.
I got to get out of here. Y'all, the spirit just ain't right here in America. It's off, family. I'm headed on back to the motherland. I can't put up with y'all no more. Everybody just hateful towards each other. So let me go back home to peace.
Living in America, you have a good and you have a bad.
Most Americans are one decision away from letting this entire thing come crumbling down, because that's exactly what needs to happen. Your best interest is nowhere in the picture as an American. We now know this. If you can't tell it's a fact, it's because you're in fucking denial because you want to be.
Oh, but America was never what it once was. That's the big reveal. That's the final lesson learned of the crumbling empire, when the people within it start to acknowledge that all the flowery stories, the highfalutin ideologies, the heroic tales that they grew up being taught to identify through were always just lies, were always just propaganda.
Life in America is not what we think. Life in America is not what we think, but I think life in America is what we see, not what we think. So if you're back home and you have money, please invest in your country. Don't use that money to come to America. Yeah, I know America is your dream country, but it is not what we think. You will work your ass in America and you will see nothing. You will pay bills. You will work overtime.
This America self is for the strongest, for the bravest, for the brutes. The land of milk and honey, milk and honey. Get out. You must be enjoying your life in America. Get out. You must be enjoying life abroad. Get out. Shut up, Chris. People don't know what you have to go through here. Driving on the road, risking my life. Going to the hospital, risking my life. Taking the medicine, risking my life.
You ever stop and think, wait, wasn't life much easier than this? It shouldn't take a calculator just to go to the grocery store. It shouldn't take a calculator just to leave the grocery store. Oh shit, girl. It shouldn't take a calculator just to leave the grocery store. Let's have a real conversation. Check this out.
This country will never recover. There is no coming back from this. And that is, in fact, a good thing for us. America needed to implode from the inside because Lord knows there is no one outside of us that will make that shit happen. We had to do it to ourselves. This country has never been good. That was all a lie. It was all propaganda. This country was built on the foundations of racism, genocide, patriarchal systems. And one of the most exploitive economic systems that humans have ever seen in all of our history, and that is capitalism. Our foundations are bad. And this is what resulted from that. It's built into every single facet of our lives. It's built into our education system, our criminal justice system, our healthcare, our laws, our economy, everything that constitutes a daily part of our existence. They have the ingredients for the roots with which this country came from. And there is no making that better. It's like baking a cake with regular flour and then wanting to make it a gluten-free cake. It's not going to happen. You can't do that. So you scrap the whole cake and you bake a new one with gluten-free flour. It's like cleaning out an infectious wound. If you don't get every last bit of the bad bacteria, it will get reinfected. A tumor, if you don't scrape out every single last cancerous cell, the tumor will regrow. And that is the reason why we keep seeing this shit popping up every single generation. We are fighting the same fucking fights over and over because we have never completely cleaned out the racist, patriarchal, capitalist, genocidal roots that are our foundations in this country. It has to crumble. It has to. And the shitty part about it is how much collateral damage there will be in the process in terms of the people who are harmed by this. But every single one of us is now paying the price for the evil, oppressive systems that our ancestors built this country on. That is their legacy. And so it is our responsibility to be better ancestors to our descendants, to build a system that they don't have to suffer from 100, 200 years from now.
Someone commented on one of my videos of me going backpacking in Southeast Asia indefinitely the other day, and they commented, "What about a salary?" Brother, respectfully, you are so brainwashed. You are brainwashed. America makes you think that you have to live for a salary, that you have to work your life away just to live. Like you can't enjoy life because you have to work and pay bills. And at my age, like I'm very fortunate because I do travel a lot. Like I travel pretty frequently on a regular basis. But for a majority of America, like this is a reality. Like they can't escape, they can't travel, they can't live their life because they're so trapped. And why do you think part of the reason why I'm leaving America is because I'm tired of the way of life here? Jobs and working and making money is just priority. Like we don't get to actually live our life because we're too focused on being able to barely survive and pay our bills. We don't have time to go out and travel because we have to work. Like America has everyone so brainwashed that we're trapped here because we can't do anything because we have to work. And I'm leaving that trap. I'm leaving that maze. And why do you think like I'm going abroad for definitely? Because we don't want to be here. I have the opportunity right now to go travel the world indefinitely on my own terms, go wherever I want, however long I want, and without worrying about America, corporate America, and salary. And obviously, I have money saved up. If I didn't have money saved up, I wouldn't be doing it. I have money saved up and to go do this. And I'm just escaping it. Like everyone's so brainwashed. It's ridiculous. It's insane, really. Like it just made me laugh because, like, brother, not about salary.
I'm so fucking done. I'm done. I've been heavily out in the job market. As most of you know, I worked for Turning Point last year, all right? Political involvement, ran for political office. Now I'm trying to find a regular job. And now I'm out in the workforce. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I am so qualified. I have a master's degree in project management, business, and organizational leadership. I have a bachelor's degree from Florida State University. I've done project management work for a law group here in Florida back in the day to help hurricane victims. Okay? I've done it all. I've done a lot of great work. Nobody, they're hiring, right? They're not getting back to you. They say, oh my gosh, great candidate. We would love for you to come in for an interview. We'll call you tomorrow, set something up. No call back. You call them back and it's like, we're not hiring anymore. Well then take your fucking post down. I'm just going to tell you right now, any mainstream politician out there that says this economy is getting better and there are so many jobs, bullshit. Okay. Nobody really wants to hire. 2020 really ruined a lot. And now I'm seeing it coming out of the political world and trying to get back into the regular world, I guess. Yeah. It's not fun. It's really not fun. And I really pray for this country. Because I know there's a lot more people out there way more qualified than my qualifications on their resume, and they're having a hard time. The wages in Florida, shit. The cost of living in Florida, New York and California prices now. Florida won't up their wages. How are Floridians going to survive? Well, that's because most of the original Floridians can no longer live here. The outsiders, though, came down with their retirement and all their money and all their baby boomer shit, doing just fine down here. But, screw all the Floridians that have been here for years that started businesses and have gone through so many hurricanes way before all you boomers moved down here. Have a nice day.
Family, I tried. I tried to make a month in America. I couldn't even make a full month. I'm short by some days. But I'm going to tell you, the vibe is off in America, family. Y'all spirit just not good. I mean, everybody's just so hateful. Even black folks are hateful towards one another. It's just crazy. I got to get out of here. Y'all, the spirit just ain't right here in America. It's off, family. I'm headed on back to the motherland. I can't put up with y'all no more. Everybody just hateful towards each other. So let me go back home to peace. I tried to make a month here in the States. I couldn't. I'm short by about 5 days. All right, peace.
Living in America, it have a good and it have a bad. As when me just come live here, bro, me dey in a house in months. And you see, when I think where people not tell you, bro, when I think where people don't tell you when you come and find out, that it is very depressing.
Nobody now tell you
Isn't
that.
it? It is so depressing sometimes, my youth. Worse when you not have no friends.
And a bad mind thing, this brother. America is not a bed of roses as how people paint it to be.
And on the other hand too, you see, if you have somebody who are willing to work, bro, you can make it a better rose. If you're willing to work, you can make it worth your while.
True. Enough people come here and get caught up in the fast life. They want quick money. As we mentioned, the quick money. Within that 2 years, bro, good boy like me left teaching job and come over here. And when Missy say, me hit rock bottom, bro. You know what I'm saying? Did me start selling that? Bro, when me tell you, say, it's like, me I try to survive.
Survival
Me not have no
kicking in.
paper. Me not have no papers. The amount of floor and couch when I sleep on, bro. Me never yet do them something as poor as me usually be. It was, if you sleep on floor at Jamaica,
My choice.
ever, brother, those 2 years, bro,
Rough.
rough.
I have a serious question. What reality are we living in where we have a president that is so delusional? You caused a war, surrendered a war, taken from the people. There's people going hungry. You're trying to make homelessness a crime. Let's see. You got flat cameras to watch everyone's move, and you want to put people on a list on a government website because they have an opinion. I'll say this. If you have to manipulate what's going on, you need to be focused on what the fuck it is you're doing. That's not how this fucking works. And I know most Americans are one decision away from letting this entire thing come crumbling down because that's exactly what needs to happen. Your best interest is nowhere in the picture as an American. We now know this. If you can't tell it's a fact, it's because you're in fucking denial because you want to be. But I know that nobody's going to continue to put up with this delusion, because that's exactly what it is. It's a delusion. Nobody wants to feed into it. And I'm sorry, personally, I'm not going to continue to go work and so that a government can harm me. Like, I'm not stupid in any sense. I see it for what it is. And so do many other people. I don't know how much longer he thinks he can get away with being such a fucking idiot. Some people just don't want to see reality, and that shouldn't be everybody's problem.
All right, so look, if black people and other melanated peoples are going to survive America, then we are going to have to learn how to work together. We start small, we build trust, and we expand it until it is something that they cannot destroy. No one is coming to save us, and the truth is, America is not a stable ship. It's a sinking one. The economy is crumbling. Jobs are disappearing. And even the so-called good opportunities are just prettier cages. Continuing to pour our labor, our energy, our money into this system that is collapsing is not just a waste, but it is counterproductive to our own survival. We can do better. We deserve better. The question is, what are we going to do? And that question only has one real answer. We build for ourselves with our own hands, with our own minds, and our own people. It starts with a survival tribe. 3 to 5 people that you would bet your life on. The ones who will show up when you call. The ones who will share the last meal with you if you were hungry. The ones you trust to watch your children, your home, your back. A tribe is small, tight, and resilient. You share resources, split costs, trade skills, and protect each other from whatever comes. Now, when these survival tribes start to join forces, they form a village, and each tribe brings its own strengths. One grows food, another one has carpentry skills, another has transportation solutions, and another might know trade and barter. And the village becomes the place where resources circulate. We can get our needs met without having to beg the system for scraps. And every time we trade with the village instead of the system, we stop feeding a machine that's been feeding off of us for centuries. So then those villages turn into communities, larger, interconnected ecosystems where skill and trust spread. And those communities link up across the map, and we start to build a network. And that network is how we reach a leaderless unity. There's no single person to cut down, no single person to corrupt, just a living system of cooperation and survival. This is how we stop being consumers of a dying America and start to build our own world. We can start to become creators of our own future, and the internet has become a weapon for our survival. Just because our tribes don't share the same space doesn't mean we don't connect. The same network they built to monitor and distract us can be used to link us all together. We can share strategies, coordinate supply chains, teach skills, trade goods, and even pool resources without ever stepping foot in the same room. The internet can connect these distant tribes into one powerful network, bridging the gaps until villages can be formed. But let's be real. Getting to this point means that we have to unlearn some things. Right now, we're in the epidemic of loneliness. Even when we're surrounded by people, we still feel disconnected. The system raised us to be independent, to believe that asking for help is a weakness, to trust no one but ourselves. And that's exactly how they kept us isolated and unable to work together. That's exactly how they keep us spending money in their stores, paying rent to their banks, and working jobs that exhaust us instead of build for us. And if we want to survive, we have to break those habits. We have to learn the power of trust again, the power of sharing again. And that's not easy because we've all been hurt. We've all been let down. We've all been betrayed. We've all been disappointed by people. Either we learn how to rebuild that trust or we stay trapped in this shithole forever, holding on to a system that will never love us back. And this is where quantum liberation comes in. On the surface, it's just building tribes, villages, communities, and networks. But at the deeper level, it's about energy. Melanin isn't just a pigment, it's a superconductor, a biological receiver, a cosmic interface. It connects us beyond words. It's why we can feel a shift in the room before anyone speaks. It's why our culture travels faster than anything on Earth. When we ground that cultural frequency into real life-based systems, food co-ops, barter markets, skill exchanges, group defense, online income streams we control, then the growth is exponential. A solution in one tribe ripples to the whole village, then from the village to the community, then from the community to the network. And once the network has momentum, it moves like a force of nature. But understand this, either we work together or they win. The system survives by keeping us apart, by convincing us that we can't trust each other, and making us believe that our survival depends on investing in their survival. But it collapses the moment we pull our energy back, our labor, our spending, our belief, and pour it into our own network. And that also means doing for self. Building income we control, selling what we make, teaching what we know, creating digital products, offering services. So our survival isn't in the hands of these corporations or these jobs that could vanish any day. The internet gives us reach. The tribe gives us strength. And every dollar that we keep in our network isn't a dollar that goes to the machine that is trying to keep us down. So real quick, just want to go through and do a quick recap. Let's make this clear. If we want to survive America as melanated peoples, we're going to have to work together. And it starts with little survival tribes. These small tribes, these trusted crews, share resources, protect each other, and stay resilient. And tribes link into villages. Villages link into communities. And communities reach into a larger network. The internet becomes our bridge. It connects tribes even though we don't live in the same place. And it makes it so we can still share information, we can still share knowledge, we can still trade, and we can still organize without ever being in the same room. And we must stop investing in America and invest in ourselves. Continuing to invest in America is counterproductive to our own existence. We can do better. We deserve better. This network will create a leaderless unity powered by our melanin, our natural ability to connect, create, and move ideas faster than anything else on this planet. We feed this network with realistic income from online and offline sources. We learn to trust again, to share again, to break the habits that this system gave us. And we let it grow link by link until we are everywhere, exchanging, protecting, building, and thriving. That's the plan. That's the path. That's how we as melanated peoples can survive America.
A lot of people have asked why I travel so much. It's like, would you want to stay in America right now if you had to? My family came to the United States for a better opportunity, and they got it, but this was not the same America that we live in now. Yes, there's plenty of opportunities to be successful, but at the same time, young people are slapped with debt. We have a very older class that's just punching down consistently. Half the Americans cannot read, and I don't want to share country with those people. Like, it's a shame, and sure, it's not their fault, but it's not my responsibility either. Truthfully, the United States is going through a period of shame right now, and so many of my fellow Americans are as much as a problem as the government is. And this isn't even supposed to be a rag on Trump post. This is just supposed to be look at the United States right now. And I want you guys, especially those who immigrated here in the 80s and the 70s, is this the country that you imagine you'd be living in later? Because frankly, what I've seen from the United States has been sheer and utter disappointment to the point where I just like to leave. Because now I'm in Santa Cruz, Bolivia. Life is great. I love it. And sure, is it that in part because of the opportunities that the country gave me so I'm able to sustain my income from abroad? Yes. And forever we'll be grateful to America, but until it gets its shit together, bro, I don't like being on sinking ships.
Remember 20, 25 years ago in LA, you couldn't bitch about anything. Like, you used to get a really big ass meal for $5. Gas was at like $2 a gallon. Going clubbing, drinks were like $8. Getting into a club was like 10, 15 bucks. Parking was 10, 15 bucks. Rents were like $1,000 a month. And you were making $5, $6, $7,000 a month. Like, it was actually affordable. It was a great place to live. The weather was great. And every summer we would have so many tourists coming in because it was such a wonderful place. Now it's the exact opposite. You can't afford rent. You can't afford food. You can't afford gas. You can't afford cars. Yeah. You can't really afford anything. And on top of that, you got all this red tape. You got all this homeless. You got all this crime. And you got incompetent politicians pretending like everything's great. They're collecting a paycheck. They have LAPD protecting them. They've got security. They've got their money. They've got their pension from the city. And it's like a racket they got going on.
Someone explain this to me. A husband goes to work in an office 8 hours a day. A wife goes to work 8 hours a day in an office. The kids go to school 8 hours a day. Everyone feels like they're in a prison education institution between the hours of 8 to 5, under yellow fluorescent lights, typing all day long. Then everyone finally comes home, burnt out. The kid has like 3 hours of homework and sports, and you get maybe 2 hours with your family before bed. And then we only get 2 days out of the week where we're completely free to do whatever we want. We used to be outside. We used to be farming, living in communities. Now we're in front of screens all day long, in pointless meetings with micromanaging bosses. I cannot tell you how many meetings I've been in that have been completely pointless. All of this could have been a 3-sentence email. I have 3 bullet points worth of action items, yet it had to be a 30-minute meeting. But nope, I have to spend hours every single day in pointless meetings. People in corporate, what else are we using other than fireflies to not crash out at our job?
America is not what it once was. Oh, but America was never what it once was. That's the big reveal. That's the final lesson learned of the crumbling empire, when the people within it start to acknowledge that all the flowery stories, the highfalutin ideologies, the heroic tales that they grew up being taught to identify through were always just lies, were always just propaganda crafted by the ruling class as an excuse for their own existence, as a motivation for the peasant folk to continue soldiering on and carrying the weight. You're part of something greater than yourself. And you're hardly alone in this lesson. I mean, one of the most common tactics utilized is the appeal to a return to the good old days. Basically, every generation of samurai fetishized some previous generation of samurai, where men had real honor and things were the way they should be, and those were the real samurai. Countless Roman emperors and politicians and generals committed countless atrocities in the name of returning Rome to its former glory. Everybody's chasing a return to the good old days, but the thing is, there was no good old days. It's all just an echo of a thinly veiled lie told to keep people in line. The Roman Empire were never superior people. The Catholic Empire were never really doing the work of God. The British Empire were never really bringing civilization to the savages. And the American Empire, which is really just kind of a corporate consumer capitalist empire wearing an American hat, were never really fighting to spread freedom and democracy and peace throughout the world. They were all doing the same thing, really, which was taking things that didn't belong to them by force, and then making up a bunch of stories to make themselves the good guy while they did it. It's a tale as old as time of the strong taking advantage of the weak, of the lucky bully that found themselves at the right place, at the right time on the world stage, and were able to transform that moment of luck and prosperity and strength into a dynasty built on a foundation of lies and violence and deception. Now, I will admit that this current iteration of ownership class have been particularly crafty. They have learned lessons from previous mistakes. See, rather than trying to glorify themselves as noble elites chosen by God to rule over you, they've glorified the system by which they rule, the free market capitalist economy and the sacred democracy, and don't think it's a coincidence that people have been conditioned to conflate the two. They've taken a global economic system of control and oppression and transformed it into an ideology, nearly a religion, and it's written into the ideology that the system is synonymous with freedom and prosperity. That way they get to hide in plain sight as job creators, as innovators, as men of industry whose tendrils spread throughout the world, across borders, globally, through invisible economic means, insulating the empire itself from responsibility from the damage being done in its name, for the slave labor and the blood spilled and the theft of resources, for the necessary evils required for this empire to be able to grow and prosper.
Y'all know what's sad in America? The new generation has decided to live in vans and cars for part of their life in order to attempt to achieve the American dream. You have individuals who make probably a decent wage still not being able to afford life in America, to the point where the new generation says, you know what? If I live in my car, if I get a van and live in this van for just a year or two, I can save this amount of money, and maybe at some point I can buy a home and try to live the American dream. Think about that, guys. When I was younger, an apartment was $600 or $700. Now, an apartment, just to get a one-bedroom apartment, is like $2,400. More than 3 times. Food is so high. Cars are so high. Everything is so high that their future is bleak. And that's in America.
Life in America is not what we think, guys.
Okay, so a lot of people have been entering my inbox like, how's life in America? How can you help me come to America? Guys, I just want to let you know life in America is not what we think. Life in America is not what we think, but I think life in America is what we see, not what we think. So if you're back home and you have money, please invest in your country. Don't use that money to come to America. Yeah, I know America is your dream country, but it is not what we think. You will work your ass in America and you will see nothing. You will pay bills. You will work overtime. What are you talking about? You will work. You will miss your loved ones. You will miss your family. And you will pay bills until your eyes will be closed. You will pay bills. You will cry. Come on, man. You will cry every day. Come to your dream country. You will cry. You will have that dream car. You will have that dream job. You will have the money. But you will be crying every day. You will pay bills. You want to come to America. If you have that 20 million or that 10 million, 5 million you want to use to come to America, use that money to invest home. Don't waste time. Don't waste your time. Don't pay that money to come to America. There are things you will see. You will cry. Your dream country will wound you. You will see. Come to America. You want to come to America? Come. You will see something. It's disgusting, guys. America is not for the America is not for the weak, guys. Come on. What's this? Oh.
This America self is for the strongest, for the bravest, for the brutes. The land of milk and honey, milk and honey. Get out. You must be enjoying your life in America. Get out. You must be enjoying life abroad. Get out. Shut up, Chris. People don't know what we have to go through here. Driving on the road, risking my life. Going to the hospital, risking my life. Taking the medicine, risking my life. Buying Johnny Test's chicken, Dexter's Laboratory tomatoes, risking my life. This America self is just a test project. Should I using all of us here to catch cruise? Because that's what it's feeling like. On top of that, you people have the audacity. I will go to your hospital, you will not give me my correct treatment, because I'm... And then you send me a bill. Talking about copay. If not be insurance, they just go use the bill, cut my head. I'm sick of it. Sick of your food, sick of your treatment, sick of your discrimination, sick of it all.
Y'all want to know one real reason why America's crashing out like crazy right now? Mediocrity don't hit like it used to, baby. See, once upon a time in America, you could be real mid and still thrive. Mediocre effort, boom, you get a house, car, annual vacation, pension, hell, maybe even a boat. You could clock in, coast through the week, grill on Sundays, and still retire with dignity. But that era is dead and gone, baby. And instead of leveling up or adapting, they're mad, they're bitter, and they're not even blaming the billionaires. They blaming you. They have the audacity to blame me. They blaming immigrants, black people, queer folk, anyone they think is taking something that used to be theirs by default. See, they don't want equality. They want comfort. And when mediocrity no longer gets them that comfort, they start rewriting the rules to rig the game again. It ain't about fairness. It's about preserving the lie that being average should still be enough for them.
This is what the end of an era looks like. Just a parking lot full of cracked asphalt and broken light poles in front of a building that used to matter. I slept here last night in my bus, in the shadow of what used to be a J.C. Penney. This is what happens when a society builds its community around consumption. When the consumption stops, the community goes with it. Here lies the ruins of the American dream.
It should make you mad that you wake up tired and still have to drag yourself up out of bed. Mad that before your feet even hit the floor, you owe somebody money. Mad that your first thought of the day ain't peace, it's panic. Mad that you gotta check your balance before you buy breakfast. Mad that you're doing everything that you're supposed to and somehow it's still not enough. It should make you mad that you go to work every day and still feel broke. Mad that you clock in, give them your body, your mind, your time, and at the end of the month, it all disappears. Mad that the price of food goes up every week, but your pay does not move. Mad that you worked overtime and still had to choose between gas and groceries. Mad that a trip to the store feels like robbery and a day off feels like a dream. It should make you mad that you worked all year just to help pay for somebody else's bonus. Mad that you can't afford Christmas for your kids, but your boss just bought a new boat. Mad that when business slows down, they cut your hours. But when profits go up, they forget your name. It should make you mad that you can work your whole life and still die in debt. Mad that your parents did it, and now you're doing it too. Mad that they called it the American dream, but all it did was have you chasing something that you cannot catch. Mad because you keep showing up, because what else can you do, right? It should make you mad that you can't even afford to get sick without going broke. Mad that you skip doctor visits because you can't afford the bill. Mad that you sit in a waiting room wondering if you're going to get healed or hustled. Mad that medicines cost more than rent. Mad that the people who own the hospitals are the same people who are making you sick. It should make you mad that billionaires hoard more money than you can count in 10 lifetimes while there's people in this lifetime digging through trash cans for dinner. Mad that corporations write off yachts while you fight off overdraft fees. Mad that you can't even get approved for a loan, but they get a bailout every time they mess up. Mad that you work for companies that pay poverty wages, then smile in the commercials talking about caring for the community. It should make you mad that your student loans outlive your education. Mad that school taught you how to obey, not how to live. Mad that you were told that college was the key, only to realize that the lock changed after you graduated. It should make you mad that we live in a world where people can work 3 jobs and still can't afford a place to live. Mad that your landlord raises the rent every year but don't fix a thing. Mad that the same people who are telling you to budget better own the same companies who are raising your bills. It should make you mad that you're scared to check the mail because it's just more bad news. Mad that you go to work sick, tired, and broken just to keep the lights on. Mad that some nights you just can't sleep because your mind just won't stop running the numbers. Mad that you got to choose between which bills get paid and which dreams get buried. It should make you mad that the people who clean the buildings can't afford to walk through the front door. Mad that the people who cook the food can't afford to eat it. Mad that the people who build the houses can't afford to live in them. Mad that this whole world runs on the backs of people who get the least from it. It should make you mad that you can't spend time with your kids because you're too busy working to feed them. Mad that they're growing up watching you struggle and thinking that this is just how life is. Mad that childhood is being replaced with survival skills. It should make you mad that everything costs peace. You can't rest. You can't breathe. You can't live without paying for it. Mad that the rent is due every month, but justice never is. Mad that food is a business. Sickness is a business. Struggle is a business. And it should make you mad that we've been taught to accept it. Mad that they tell you to be grateful when you can barely survive. Mad that they call your exhaustion the grind and your suffering discipline. Mad that they broke your spirit and called it maturity. Because if you're not mad, you've gone numb. If you're not mad, they've already won. They turned your patience into obedience, your endurance into silence, your kindness into compliance. They made you believe your cage was a blessing. And every time you say, it is what it is, they win. Every time you say, that's just life, they take a little bit more from you. Every time you swallow that anger, the machine breathes easier. And maybe that's the point where something in you finally snaps. Not in rage, but in truth. The quiet voice inside that says, This can't be all that there is, because underneath that anger is something sacred trying to wake up. Our anger isn't hate. It's truth. It's the soul saying, enough. It's the human spirit remembering what it came here for. This isn't about revenge. This is about freedom. About finally saying, I am not available for exploitation anymore. It's about saying I deserve to live as a free human being on this planet Earth in this day, in this time. Our anger is righteous. It's sacred. It's the part of us that refuses to die quietly. It's the fire that can burn through the depression, the exhaustion, the confusion. It's the energy that can wake us up, charge us up, and pull us up out of despair. We can use that righteous anger to rebuild, to reconnect, to finally rise as a people who remembers that we are the power, the workers, the thinkers, the dreamers, the ones of us who make everything move. And that's the biggest thing that we should be mad about. We should be mad that we forgot that truth, that we have always had the power to stop it, the power to change it, the power to walk away from the systems that feed on us and build something new. Together, our future was never in their hands. It was always in ours. We just needed to see it, to feel it, to unite and cooperate, not as enemies, as classes, as races, but as one collective force of human beings who've decided no more. So be mad. Stay mad. Let it move you. Let it remind you who you are. Because when our anger becomes awareness, our awareness becomes our unity. And we can finally remember what real power feels like.
As an American, there are some things that you can truly never fully understand until you leave the United States. I moved out of the United States 2.5 years ago, and since then, there have been moments where certain things happen that completely and utterly break everything that I've ever known. And today, one of those things happened. I'm currently living in Germany, and very recently, I just got a part-time barista job. It's completely a part-time thing and just something for me to make some extra cash on the side. And I literally cannot even work more than 20 hours a week per my resident permit. And I haven't even started working yet, but there are some things about this job that have already broken me in a good way. As I'm in talks with the boss trying to get this job, I'm expecting like, okay, we'll do like an interview or something and they can see if they like me or not. And the boss emails me about like, they don't do like an interview, they do like a tryout day. And they're telling me like, come in for the tryout day and see if you like it and if you fit in with the environment well. And when I went in for the tryout day and like all went really well and stuff, the boss asked me at the end, so like if you feel good about this job, like if you like it, if it suits you well and you think you might want to stay here, then just like write me an email and let me know by like Tuesday or whatever. And they're not saying anything about like whether they even like me or not. Like all the focus seems to be on whether like I like the job and I want to stay there. Like I ended up having to ask like, well, do you like me? Like my German isn't so good. So like, is it okay or is it like a problem? Like, how do you feel like I fit in with the environment? And only then did I hear from the boss like that, yeah, they liked me too. And then as we're going through the hiring process, like the first thing that they tell me is like, okay, the paperwork should be ready to sign in like 2 weeks. First things first, I need a little bit of information from you. And the first thing she asked me was, when do you want to take your vacation days this year? Literally the first thing that they asked me. Guess how many vacation days I get for a part-time 20-hour-a-week barista job? I am allotted 36 vacation days, or 6 weeks in a 6-day work week schedule. 6 weeks. But the thing that broke me today was an email from my boss telling me that not only is it possible for me to go on the public healthcare system, but it's literally required for me to. For context, this has never been possible for me before, and since I turned 25 and moved outside of the United States, I've only been able to have essentially travel insurance. And now through the German public healthcare system, I can pay into it and then see pretty much any doctor that I want to, as long as they have an available appointment for free or pretty much free. And the amount that you pay into it is like 100 euros a month. I haven't been to a dentist in like 10 years, and I know that partially that's definitely my fault, but I literally through like the public health insurance, it's like required for you to go like twice a year. I was like kind of freaking out when I first got the email, and I was like texting my German friends so that they could like help me understand better, and because like I translated it, but I was like, I don't want this to be like a false translation or something and me get my hopes up for no reason. And they were like, congratulations, like, but I was like really overwhelmed by it, and they were like, I don't understand what the big deal is. Like, yeah, of course, anyone in Germany who makes more than like 600 euros a month, they automatically can go on the public health insurance. And they're asking me like, what, you didn't know that? And I'm like, no, I didn't know that. Of course I could have like researched that, but like the thing is when you're socialized like as an American, like why would I have even expected that or thought to research something like that? We don't even have a public healthcare system like this. And a 20-hour a week barista gig would never give you social safety nets from it. Like why would I have expected that? People who are not American will never understand that Americans systemically is so harsh and unforgiving and just cruel that it socializes you. If you're poor, if you're not wealthy, then it socializes you into having just an overall pessimistic mindset or having expectations that everything will be so difficult and or impossible that you should set your standards super, super, super low, like in hell, so that you can be easier to exploit. Why would I have ever thought to look something like that up? I'm used to a part-time job giving you nothing. I'm used to public health care not even really existing. I'm used to literally everyone I love around me being like constantly in this state of like nervous system dysregulation because they're constantly in fear that if they have 2-3 bad months, then they're literally on the street. I'm used to seeing women in abusive situations not be able to leave their husband because they will lose their healthcare or it will be too financially crippling for them and they are terrified of being homeless. I'm used to people working 2 to 3 jobs and still being so scared of not being able to make ends meet for their family. I'm used to things being impossibly expensive. I'm used to things being intentionally made to be as difficult as possible to deter people from obtaining them. I'm used to things being unforgiving and uncaring and unhuman. Like, I can't believe how easy it was for me to obtain the essential care that every human being needs and deserves just by serving a little bit of coffee. Like, of course, you can read and research about other countries, like, as much as possible, but there's some things that you don't fully understand until you leave the United States. I'm so angry and full of grief that our government and our society and media and whoever else has convinced us that the way that we live is normal. I'm currently writing a Substack article talking about all of the various things that I've learned that you can't really understand until you leave the United States. And so you guys can follow me there if you are interested in more information, like in this video.
If this conversation made you think, don't keep it to yourself. Drop a comment and tell me if you're drop a comment and tell me if your life has changed for the better. Drop a comment down below and tell me if your life has changed for the better or for the worse. I'll see you next time. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Turn on your native. I'll see you next time. Make sure you turn on your like. I'll see you next time. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell. Golly. I'll see you next time. I'll see you next time. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell. And follow for more videos. Happy every day.